Those three whistles are a signal to other boats that we're in reverse, so they know to not go behind us. Most likely, we're the only people on the entire lake that know what that means, but it makes me feel better when I do that. So these piers over here to our left are normally the beach swimming piers. They've reconfigured those piers to be more like the private piers around the lake. Normally there's no posts extending up above the deck level over there. So that's why those piers don't go all the way to shore. People have to swim out to those piers. But nobody's going to have to actually go out and get the mail there today. So people ask what happens when the mail jumpers miss. They wear actually self-inflating life jackets that blow up the second they hit the water. And they get back on the pier and we come back around and get them. And yes, that does happen. It doesn't happen a lot. That's why we have mail jumper tryouts. I have a feeling we'll have some swimmers tomorrow. It's one of those things where when you're watching somebody else do it, it doesn't look like the boat's going very fast, but every time we have media people and celebrity people come and do guest jumps and things like that, and we've had TikTokers and things, and invariably they get out there and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe how fast you're going." It's kind of like when you're watching somebody work on the roof and it doesn't look very high until you get up there. That modern brick building just beyond the Riviera Beach here to our right is the Lake Geneva Public Library. That building was designed by James Dresser, who was of the architectural school of Frank Lloyd Wright. Property along the shoreline is Library Park. That land, along with a cottage standing on it, was donated to the city of Lake Geneva in 1894 by Mrs. George Sturgis. It was given with a stipulation that the area always be kept in public use. Their cottage became the city's first library, used until the 1950s when it was replaced by the new building. Many of the homes that were built on this lake were built at a time they called this area the Newport of the West, after Newport, Rhode Island, the famous resort community on the East Coast. When this lake was initially completely built up, there were houses all the way around the lake. That was about 1910 by the time there were houses all the way around the lake, and at that time there were somewhere between 50 and 60 estates, as they call them, each of them with a quarter mile or half mile more or more of lake frontage. Over the years that has changed a great deal. There are literally thousands of homes on the lake today. Some of those estates are still here. I'll be talking about those, and in some cases I'll be talking about subdivisions in the estate that the subdivisions replaced. Just up ahead here you can see a large tan stucco home with dark windows. That's called Maple Lawn. That was built in 2010. Now the original Maple Lawn dated all the way back to 1870 when at that time it was the first house on the lake, built in 1870 for Sheldon Sturgis, who founded or consolidated a number of banks in the Chicago area. And he was also in the grain elevator business along with his brothers George and Buckingham. The group of homes that we're coming up on is the Geneva Manor. The manor is typical of what happens over the years as some of these large estates go down and the property is subdivided. The manor subdivision is on 37 acres of what was originally the Levi Leiter estate called Linden Lodge. Linden Lodge had 39 rooms. Inside there were 19 fireplaces. One of those fireplaces was in the master bathroom. The home stood just ahead here beyond what is now the subdivision's boat dock area. It stood there until the 1930s. Levi Leiter was in the dry goods business. He was co-founder of a company called Field Leiter and Company. He later sold out to to his more famous business partner, Marshall Field. One unique thing about the Manor subdivision, they have a covenant in the Manor subdivision that no home can be built in the same architectural style as any other home in that entire subdivision. So you see a home under construction here to our right. That is replacing a home that has stood there for a long time, and that style of home that you see there, there's not another one like it in the entire subdivision.
Can I see the ticket?
You look at Pier 20 there.
Or lunch?
One unique thing about that pier, you can see it's tan. All the other piers on the lake, with the exception of one or two, are white. White is, of course, a much cooler paint on your feet on a hot summer day. People wonder why that one is tan. And the best answer I can give you is that they haven't given into the peer pressure yet from their neighbors. Yeah, I'm just getting started. If you look at Pier 25 right there, you can see what appears to be a Canada goose sitting on one of the posts. That's actually their cleverly disguised mailbox. That's one of our mailboat deliveries. And again, our jumper jumps off the boat and they make the delivery in that box there under the goose. And one tradition that they have, they also kiss the goose before they get back on the boat, or it's bad luck all the way around the lake for them. And they do need luck on their side. Our youngest jumper this year, one of the days, she got a little bit of a hurry out there. She forgot to kiss the goose, and later on that trip, she got bit by a dog that was on one of the piers. We're passing the Covenant Harbor Bible Camp, operated by the Evangelical Covenant Church. That was originally the George Sturgis estate. I mentioned the Sturgis family back there at Maple Lawn. The main home stood to the left of the boathouse where those white Adirondack chair stands until it was torn down in the 1950s. The next group of homes that we're passing is the Geneva Bay Estate subdivision on the former site of the N.K. Fairbank estate, which was called the Butternuts. Butternuts was one of the first truly large homes built on the lake. It took up about the same ground as the first 3 homes in the subdivision. It burned completely to the ground shortly after it was completed, but it was immediately rebuilt from the original plans. In 1895, a 5-hole golf course was added. It was here that many of the millionaires around the lake were introduced to the relatively new game of golf. They established the Lake Geneva Country Club later that same summer of 1895. N.K. Fairbank was president of the N.K. Fairbank Company, Chicago's leading maker of lard oil refinery products, products like Fairy Complexion Soap, Santa Claus Bar Soap, the Gold Dust Twins soaps, and eventually their Fairy soap line sold to Procter & Gamble and became Ivory Soap. So that soap business, of course, was an offshoot of Chicago's very large meat industry. So giving you more information about the mailboat, you can see just ahead to our right, Pier 39, 40, 41. There's mailboxes on those piers, and we're driving just a little slower than we're going right now with that young person jumping off at each of those piers and making mail deliveries. Any day the post office is open during that mailboat season, we're delivering mail. Every day, including Sundays and holidays, we're delivering newspapers. You'll see some people along the shoreline. They're probably not the homeowners, and they're not trespassing. There is a shore path that goes all the way around the 20 plus miles of Geneva shore. Most people tackle that shore path in segments. This part that we're passing is the most popular.